And I'm very pleased to introduce our next speaker, Shelley Hammell. Shelley is an executive coach, and she's the founder of an organization called Sage Alliance. It's a leadership performance company. So we've been talking a lot about transformation, and so we thought that this would be a great time to be a little bit introspective about yourselves, your own brand, how it benefits you, how it benefits First Data, and her topic is going to be the power of building a personal brand, and I'll pass it over to Shelley.
It's good to see everybody, and thank you for having me. So we've got so many mixed people here. Normally I want everyone to introduce themselves, but we just simply don't have the time to do that. So I do want to just kind of get a sense of everyone in the room, and just so I could at least target my presentation today for all of you. And so just by a show of hands, how many of you actually have a brand? Just quick show of hands, how many of you have a brand? Okay. All right, great. So I'm really sorry, but that's like the first trick question for the day. So everyone put your hands in the air. You all have a brand, okay? Every single one of you has a brand. The question is the brand that you have, is that the brand that positions you for who you are, what you stand for, and where you want to go next? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm assuming I have a clicker somewhere here, or that's okay.
Gigantic clicker.
Ah, there we go. Perfect. Got it. So, all right. So I want to do just a quick little exercise since I do have you all, and since I have the mic, I could get you all back together. What I'd love you to do is, and maybe I'm going to ask you three to just kind of go with this table, but what I want everyone to do in just a moment, so no one get out of their seats, I will ask you to get out of your seats, but I want you to introduce yourself using the following. Hi, my name is, and what makes me unique is. All right? I just want you to introduce yourself to everyone at your table. You don't have to say your name if everyone, in fact, knows your name. But what I do want you to do is, hi, my name is Shelley Hammell, and what makes me unique is I'm a performance coach. All right? So is that clear? Everyone's going to introduce themselves to everyone at their table. I will get you back together when we're done. One caveat before we stand up, just do it amongst your table except for you guys, because I want to make sure you guys get to do this a few times too. Every time you do this, I want you to change what you say. So if there's 5 people at your table, you're going to say 5 different things. Ready? Go. So who wants to tell me, how did that go? How did it go? Fun? Okay, what else? Who said hard? Yeah, why? Why was it hard?
It's just hard to talk about yourself.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, how many of you just found it hard to talk about yourself? Awkward. Yeah, how many of you felt a little awkward? Okay, what else? What else? Yeah, so many things you can say, and kind of zeroing in on what that should be. Okay, what else?
And it's hard to understand the definition of unique.
Yeah.
Where is that? Like, I think it's unique, but maybe the other person doesn't.
Okay.
I found one. I found it.
Okay, so, what is unique? Okay, did I see another hand? Yeah. Okay. So what should I even focus on? What do people want to know? Is it my personal life, my professional life? What should I even say? All right. How many of you, so I heard someone say awkward, and I think we said uncomfortable. How many of you, as you were listening to the other person, said like, wow, that's kind of cool, or I didn't know that? Yeah. And so why do we do this? So I'll answer it so you don't have to. But the point is a couple of things. Number one, you need to be able to recognize what makes you unique. And you need to be able to say that. This should not be a surprise. Geez, why am I unique? So this should be something you know about yourself. The other thing, and why I just had you mix it up a little bit, because sometimes when you dig down deep, you kind of come up with some things and people go, wow. So I want you to really look at the wow, not just what's on the surface. And hopefully the last thing that you noticed about doing this is, while it may feel uncomfortable, how many of you felt kind of silly saying, what makes me unique? You know, using those words, but you've got to think that. And while the person on the receiving end, all of you said it was kind of neat hearing it. And so I want you to realize that it's okay to feel that way. There's something that makes you unique, and that's what we're going to talk about next. All right. There we go. So I just wanted to level set what is a brand. I know you guys are in marketing. I once was in marketing as well. So, but I love this definition by Jeff Bezos, and I think it's a great one, because what he says is a brand is basically your reputation, a personal brand, but also it's about when you try and do hard things well. And think about that for a moment. When we think about our brands, many cases it's something that's effortless. It comes easy to us. We don't think about it. We just do it. And in fact, that probably is your brand, because what you're good at, everybody else isn't good at. So as an example, I know for a fact I'm not really good in finance. It's not, I don't like it. I've never been good with numbers. I hate spreadsheets. I can't even stand doing my own expenses. I hate it. And so I know I'm not good at that. But all throughout my career, I would find people who were good in finance who could help me, and I would try and help them in things that I was good in. So you need to zero in on what is that thing, that hard thing that you do well that maybe other people don't do as well. And that's truly what your brand is. So I wanted to share just a little research, and I'm going to use that word very loosely because this is not a statistical study that I did, but what it is something that I did on LinkedIn because I thought it was a really good way to just get a good cross-section of people. And so, again, not statistical, you can see by the numbers and such, but nonetheless, I asked people, what do you struggle with as it relates to your personal brand? And not really too many surprises, and we're going to talk about pretty much all of these things today at different levels of detail. But first, how do I even describe my brand? I mean, I don't even know how to go about that. How do I communicate my accomplishments? Because it's really important that people know not just what you do, but how you do it. And I'm going to talk more about that too. So how do you communicate your accomplishments? Going to the last one is I'm not sure what others think of my brand, and so we're going to talk about that as well. So those were the top 3 answers, and then you can see the other 2. I sort of threw this one in as a ringer, but it's kind of interesting. I thought maybe people would see it and think about it, but you know, how do I control frustration, impatience? Because there's things that detract from my brand, and if I'm not aware of that, if I'm not intentional about what my brand is, those things might take me astray. And so that's something that's really important. And then last but not least, how do I communicate to those that I want to be promoted? Again, this was a survey, and so I needed to put it in kind of simple terms, but how do you communicate your aspirations? Where do you want to go next? What's important to you? And these are what most people struggle with as it relates to personal branding. So I know the speaker before me, I know you've been talking about marketing trends and internal things, but this segment for today is about you. You guys are marketers, but you know, it's like the cobbler and his shoes. You know, we spend time marketing our company and our products, but we don't spend time on ourselves. And that's what I want you to focus on today. So I never know where I should be like pointing, but so I've got a 7-point plan. We're going to go through all 7 steps rather quickly, but nonetheless, we're going to talk about all of them. And so first is we're going to start with your self-awareness. How self-aware are you? Next, and I don't know how quickly these are going to come. So we're going to talk about how do you develop a consistent image? I'm going to give you a process for getting feedback because it's great if you think you've got this fantastic brand. Back to this table in the back, you know, how do I know that's unique? You know, how do I know? Well, you're going to get some feedback and find out. So you're going to know whether that's unique or not. We're going to talk about focus and how important it is to have focus as it relates to your brand. How to differentiate yourself, really important. You're in a room of marketers. How do you stand out from the crowd? How do you differentiate yourself and make sure people know who you are and what you stand for? 6 is, we're actually today, before I leave, and so we don't have a lot of time, we're gonna go pretty fast, but you're gonna develop an elevator speech. Before I leave, you all will have something written down, so if you